Hello and good morning. It's Phil Thatch, and today I'm in Dayton, Tennessee, and I'm hanging around near kind of the lake, I guess, and at a park and some other areas. Haven't had too much luck so far this morning, but the light just started to peek through the clouds just a little bit, and I found myself with really nice sun angle on an American robin in the grass over here. So that's going to be my first shot of the day, and who knows, it may end up being my best shot of the day. It's an American robin. And today I'm using the Sony a6700 and the 200 to 600 millimeter G lens that they make. And that's what I use to make that photograph of the robin. Let's check it out.
I actually started out photography this morning at a wetland that's a couple of miles from the park that I ended up spending most of my day. And I didn't think I got any good shots, so I didn't talk about them in the video, but I actually am happy with this shot. It's a 600 millimeter shot, wide open at 6.3. 1/400th of a second in ISO 800. And this is a red-winged blackbird that's there in a stump that comes up out of the water in the wetland area. And I caught it making its call. Had to crop this quite a bit, but I still ended up liking it enough to share it with you. So I hope you like it. This is the American robin, and it's in the grass, and this is early spring. This is actually March the 17th today here in East Tennessee. And so the grass is just bursting with color, this early spring grass, and I thought it looked nice with the American robin in it. This is a 600 millimeter shot at f6.3, 1/400th, ISO 200. And you know, in America, you might say, gosh, Phil, why are you sharing pictures of a robin? They're so common. But the fun thing about YouTube is I have viewers all over the world. So people in other parts of the world don't see these beautiful American robins all the time, and they may see this shot and not say, oh, there's a really common bird. They may see this shot and say, oh, there's a really beautiful bird that I don't get to see all the time. So that's why I'm sharing these robin shots today.
I pulled over here to an area that's right beside the boat ramp, and just down here there's some reeds, and I had seen them. I think it was a sparrow of some sort. I didn't see it long enough to see what it was, but I decided I'd pull over here and kind of wait around and see if that sparrow came back. And I waited around quite some time, and the sparrow didn't come back, but I kept looking at those reeds, and they're dead. They're from last year, and they're a beautiful tannish brown color, and there's some down there where when the water's up is water, but now it's down, and there's some beautiful green, fresh spring grasses growing down there in the background. And while I was waiting, I said, you know what, I wonder what it would look like if I did a little intentional camera movement. So I stopped it down to f16 so I could get my shutter speed slow without overexposing, and I went to a 1/15th of a second shutter speed, and I just kind of started at the base of those reeds and moved my camera up. And as I moved the camera up, I made shots, and I think maybe one or two of those intentional camera movement shots might be okay. So this is definitely not wildlife photography, but it is something that you can do while you're waiting to do wildlife photography. Let's take a look at some ICM.
Here's the intentional camera movement shots, and these are at f16. Like I say, I stopped the camera down to f16 so I could get a shutter speed slow enough to blur the background. And I'm at 1/15th of a second, and that is plenty slow to move the camera. You don't even have to move the camera really fast to get an amazing blur. And this is the reeds that I was talking about, the beautifully colored reeds, and I just swept the camera from down low to up high and shot a burst while I was doing it. And this is one of the shots that I got, which I really like, and I'm not sure if I like this one or the next one the best. Heather says she likes this one better because there's more green in it. This is more towards the top of the reeds, and in this shot the reeds aren't blocking the background grass as much. But I'm pretty happy with both shots. I like this one and this one as well. Let me know which one you like the best, or you may be here for bird photography, so you may not like either one of these. You can tell me that too if you want to.
Staying in that same location was a great idea, or it worked out well, because as soon as I got done doing my ICM shots, a red-winged blackbird flew up and landed. I think it's in a privet hedge that's just up the hill a little ways from the reeds, and I was able to get a few shots of the red-winged blackbird just right outside the car. It came to me. I didn't go to it.
Okay, here's the red-winged blackbird. This is 588 millimeters, 1/320th f6.3 and ISO 320. And just like the shot over at the wetlands a couple of miles away, I caught this red-winged blackbird making its call. This is a male, and I was really happy with this shot, just beautiful. And I also had another shot that I captured, and this one is all the way at 600 millimeters. And I always like it when a bird faces two different directions while on one perch, because I can get two completely different compositions. So I got it facing this way, not making its call, just looking all regal, and then looking in the other direction, making its call. So two completely different shots, both made on the exact same perch and within a few seconds of each other. Really happy that I waited and played around with intentional camera movement long enough for this bird to feel comfortable enough to fly up and land right next to me.
I'm still rolling around here at the park, and I rolled up on another American robin, and it was on the ground here just outside the car, and I was able to frame it up and make a shot of it, and it never would look at me. And sometimes when I'm trying to get a bird to look at me, I'll make my own little bird sound. I'll go like that a couple times, and sometimes that'll spook the bird, and other times they totally ignore it, but sometimes they'll turn and look at you. And so that's what I did, and I was able to get a fairly decent head angle on this robin on the ground. I only used 321 millimeters, I think, for this shot.
Here's another American robin. This is the one that was at 321 millimeters. It landed right beside the car, 1/320th f6.3 and ISO 320. Really happy to see this beautiful American robin. And if there ever was a bird that fit the saying, the early bird gets the worm, it's the American robin. You'll often see them wandering around on the ground, and they'll be digging around for earthworms, and you can see some dirt on this bird's beak. So that's probably what it's doing on the ground. And other times you'll see them high in the canopy feeding for other things, but if you see them on the ground, they're probably looking for worms.
I've made a couple of laps around this park area and the boat ramp area, and I've been trying to get a photograph of a belted kingfisher, which I keep seeing, but I can't get anywhere near. Well, I finally got a shot of the belted kingfisher. It was in this tree right over here, and I had actually gotten another shot of it, but I don't think I got it in focus over on kind of what looks like a boat dock or something. I don't think the shot on the boat dock was any good, but I'm almost sure the shot in the tree that I just got is worth looking at. So let's check it out.
Here's the beautiful belted kingfisher that I tried for a long time and finally got a shot of her. This is a 600 millimeter shot, 1/320th wide open at f6.3 and 320 ISO. And you know, belted kingfishers are sexually dimorphic, which means the males and females have a different color pattern. They're very similar, except for the female is the only one that has this beautiful copper brownish color section on its chest. Just beautiful, and the males don't have that. Usually the males are the more colorful gender, but in the belted kingfisher, it's the females that have the most color, and I was really thrilled to get this photograph, probably my favorite photograph of the day.
I was making another lap, and over the water, ridiculously high, I saw a bird that looked to be turkey vulture size, and I watched it for a little bit, and I noticed it wasn't flapping its wings like a turkey vulture, and I said, you know what, I bet that's a bald eagle. So I stopped and made a shot of it, and crazily, that's one thing about this lens with its internal zoom, you can't tell if you're zoomed all the way, and I just assumed that I was, but I was only at 500 millimeters, but 600 wouldn't have helped. But I was able to at least get a shot where I could identify it as an adult bald eagle flying around. Pretty cool just to see one, even if I couldn't get a good shot.
Here's the bald eagle. This is a 500 millimeter shot. I wish I had been at 600 millimeters, but it wouldn't have helped at all. And I'm only showing you this shot just to say, hey, look, I really did see a bald eagle, and it was so high with the naked eye, I couldn't actually even tell it was a bald eagle, but the camera at least allowed me to determine the species. And from the same spot, sitting there in the car, as I was going, man, I just saw a bald eagle, this American crow flew up and landed on this stump that was, I don't know how far away it was, maybe 30 feet, 35, maybe 40. And I got this shot 600 millimeters f6.3, 1/320th and ISO 320 of this beautiful American crow on a stump. And they're really hard to get a photograph of, crows, because they're really smart and they know to stay away from humans. But I was in a car and I had been sitting there for a few minutes looking at the bald eagle photograph, and it flew up and landed relatively close, and I was able to get this shot.
Well, I've had a really nice morning out here in the Dayton area with the Sony a6700 and the 200-600 lens. I didn't get a whole lot of shots today, as you have seen, but I did get a few that were okay. I hope you enjoyed them. If you did, take a moment, give me a thumbs up. You know, a lot of times people think that these videos that I make are camera reviews, I guess because I always tell about what gear I'm using, but these aren't camera reviews. This is just a morning out with Phil doing photography. That's what these are. They're wildlife photography, bird photography, landscape photography. They're just photography vlogs, and I hope you enjoy them. And if you do, you can subscribe and see lots more stuff like this. Now, occasionally I will do a review that's actually a review, but most of the time it's more like this, just a morning out doing photography, whether it's landscape or wildlife or whatever kind of photography it is, just kind of sharing my day with you. And I hope you like it. Thanks for watching. I hope to see you in the next one. Bye-bye.